All right, guys, back here on Southeastern 14 with Max Barr. We continue our predictions for Wednesday's games in SEC basketball. And if you're looking for the Tennessee-South Carolina game, you can see us filibuster and put off our picks as long as possible for that game in the comments below because, boy, we had a time trying to figure out what to do with the potential SEC regular season clinching game in Columbia. But let's talk about these others before we do that. Bet Online, our friends, continue to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. Up to the minute odds, stats, and trends. You can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting contests and all the best player props. World's best wagering platform anytime for your desktop, your mobile devices. Who are we talking about? We're talking about Bet Online. So you can head over there today, betonline.ag. Become part of the team. Use that promo code we always tell you about, BELIEVE, BLEAV. 50% off your welcome bonus on your first deposit. So Bet Online, the game starts here. All right, Max. We won't tell everyone what we said before we started recording this about this slate of games, but if you want insight on that, $3.99 a month. It just means more to you. Maybe we'll start releasing our unedited pregame show. But some of you won't want to hear that because we're going to talk about this slate, and it's interesting to say the least. LSU goes to Arkansas. The Hogs. I've said I think they're the most inconsistent team in the SEC. You know my thoughts on LSU. Got to be the best 16-13 team in America now at this rate. So where do we start here, Max? You want to tell me exactly how Arkansas is going to play in this one because you may be the only person who can accurately make that prediction.
Well, I'll tell you what. Who do you think has been the hottest scorer in the entire country? Hottest scorer in the whole country over the past 3 games? Do you know who it's been?
I'll make a prediction. It has not been a battle. That's for sure.
Right. Hasn't even been close. Okay. First game these two teams played, Battle played 9 minutes, 0 points, took 2 shots.
Unbelievable.
He's been the nation's top scorer by a mile over the past 3 games. And he barely played, did not even play in the first game. This was the first time these two teams played. This was the game where Devo Davis was left the team. Brazil was announced he was out with a knee injury, and it was like, oh boy, this was when this game was played. What was it? Early February, I think. This was when we were starting to really, really worry. Not even worry, but we were just like, oh no, Arkansas. That was right in early February. Arkansas's looked better since then in some games. Mekhi Mitchell's really played well, and obviously Battle. But for LSU, this was the Will Baker game when Will Baker made his first 3 or 4 threes in the first 15 minutes. And they jumped out to a lead, and it was over pretty much after the first 10 minutes. So how am I supposed to try to predict this one when that's what the minutes were and everything in the previous game? I don't know, Blake. Are you seeing anything?
Well, I'll say this. Battle has shot more free throws in the last 4 games than I think most players take in an entire season. He went 17 of 18 against Kentucky, 14 of 17 against Vanderbilt, 14 of 14 against Missouri, 9 of 10 against Texas A&M. My math's not great, but I think that's 59 free throws. That is nuts. But yeah, I mean, so can he get to the line against LSU? If he can, hey, Arkansas is going to have a chance. Because like you said, we pick on Arkansas. They've been easy to pick on this year, but it's the extremes that you get with this team. It's the 85-82 home loss to Vanderbilt. It's the 78-71 road win at Texas A&M. It's the putting up 102 at Kentucky and nearly having a chance to beat the Cats. And then it's what you mentioned a second ago. It's the 21-point loss at LSU, the 29-point home loss to Tennessee. Which one's real, which one's not? You never know. And so I think the fact is, in these kind of games, we've done the same thing all season long. I mean, what I see is LSU has won 4 or 5, and while I've been kind of hyping up the possibility of them getting to 10 wins, if they do this, they're going to, because they're gonna play Missouri in the final game on Saturday. But I mean, as you said, Arkansas has been playing better, so I'm gonna take a chance on the Hogs here. Boy, those are words this season. If we've said that, it's good luck if that's what you're saying, because we've taken a chance on the Hogs a lot this season, and that gamble hasn't paid off a lot. And so, but I think there is something to the fact they're playing better. Battle's playing as well as he's playing. LSU, I feel like, yeah, had their number in that last game, but as you said, Arkansas is a little bit different spot now. I don't want to say they fixed their issues, but they seem to at least be doing what they can to make it manageable the rest of the season. So I'll go with the Razorbacks in this one.
So I'm looking at something here, and I think I've kind of found a little trend. So when all of Arkansas's SEC wins, they beat A&M twice, Missouri twice, and Georgia. They never let up more than 6 threes. Now, I may be mistaken on one game because I'm just flipping through them real quick, but I think there's kind of we've kind of noticed the teams that Arkansas are beating are the teams that cannot shoot the ball or can and just have a really rough night. A&M twice, Missouri twice. That's kind of been the theme for this Arkansas team, and this is an LSU team that can really shoot it, can really light it up. I think it's just teams kind of ending the season on different paths. Yes, Arkansas has looked tougher and they've played with more intensity, like we were kind of scratching our head with earlier in the season. But this is still an Arkansas team that just lost at home to Vandy and just gave everything they had against Kentucky, and now got to turn around and play an LSU team that's won 4 out of the last 5 with wins over Kentucky and South Carolina. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm gonna go with LSU here because normally I would pick Arkansas in this spot. I'm going LSU.
Well, the reason I'm picking Arkansas is because everything tells me to not pick Arkansas. So usually that's when you pick Arkansas.
Yep.
We're gonna take a chance on that one. So, all right, we're gonna be split on this one. I don't think we're gonna be split on the next one. Kentucky is gonna host Vanderbilt, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, SEC Network game. If you recall, the last time around these two teams played, it was pretty one-sided as Kentucky went to Nashville and just clobbered Vanderbilt 109-77 in that game. And keep in mind, reminder, Kentucky won that game, scored 109 without DJ Wagner, without Trey Mitchell, and like that Reed Shepherd had 6 points. So they scored 109 without basically 3 of their top whatever guys even being a factor scoring wise. Now Reed Shepherd was a factor in other areas, but so what do we say now? I mean, Vanderbilt, they did win at Arkansas not too long ago, but so if you do the mathematical equation, right? Was it the commutative property, Max? You should know.
Yep.
I was not great at mathematics, but hey, Arkansas just played Kentucky well. Vanderbilt beat Arkansas on the road, so maybe it all comes back around where this is a bit of a grind for Kentucky. I don't think so.
Well, we got to remember in that first game it was tied at 0-0.
I was about to say when the game started.
I was just messing around.
I knew the setup was coming on that one.
Yeah. No, I mean, if there's one thing Vandy likes to do, it's have us do a preview and not give them even a sliver of a chance and then come out and have the lead at halftime. I don't know how many times that's happened this year. So I'm not going to sit here and say there's no chance they win, like Ken Palm is saying they only have a 3% chance and are going to lose by 21. I don't know. Listen, this league's crazy, okay? You have a Kentucky team who is coming off of a huge week, scoring 111 on Saturday. Now they got to, play a Vandy team before they can go to Tennessee. Maybe they're looking ahead to Tennessee. They come out sleepwalking a little bit, and this thing is kind of a gross game. I can see that happening. I can see the setup, but I'm not going to be picking Vandy here. But man, the computer's saying this thing's going to be 20, 21, 22. I know who's playing, but geez, this is still an in-conference game. I mean, they're going to be playing. 21's a lot of points.
Max, do you want me to give you a stat that is going to absolutely blow your mind? I would say I would put this up there as maybe the most ridiculous stat of the year in SEC basketball. Are you ready for this?
What is it?
Do you know how many times Kentucky has beaten Vanderbilt by double digits in Lexington in the past? Hold on. Oh my goodness, I'm still scrolling. In the past 13 or 14 years.
Don't say
Remember,
it.
these two teams play twice a year, I think, mostly. Maybe not every year. I'm not sure about that.
This stat is how many times
How
Kentucky
many
has
times
beaten
Kentucky has
Vandy.
won by double digits against
Oh,
Vanderbilt over the past 13 years in Lexington?
don't say 0.
One.
What?
Once. Here you go. I'm going to run through this quickly.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt at Kentucky, 2023. Kentucky, wait, hold on a second. Vanderbilt won that game last year, 68-66. Yes. Vanderbilt at Kentucky, 2022. Kentucky wins 77-70. Vanderbilt at Kentucky, 2021. Kentucky wins 77-74. Vanderbilt at
Ooh.
Kentucky, 2020. Kentucky wins 71-62. Vanderbilt at Kentucky, 2019. Kentucky wins 56-47. Vanderbilt at Kentucky, 2018. Kentucky wins 83-81 in overtime.
Ooh.
Vanderbilt at Kentucky, 2017. Kentucky wins 73-67. 2016, this is the one year they won by 19, Kentucky did. 2015, Vanderbilt at Kentucky. Kentucky was number 1 in the country at that point. 65-57, they win that game.
What?
Vanderbilt at Kentucky, 2013. Kentucky wins 74-70. Vanderbilt at Kentucky, 2012. Kentucky, number 1 team in the country at that point. 83-74. Vanderbilt at Kentucky, 2011. Kentucky wins 68-66.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. There you go. If you're a bettor, you're watching this game or watching this preview video,
I'm in.
that tells you all you need to know right there.
I'm in.
So I may be in now too.
I will be placing a wager on Vanderbilt's spread. Sorry. I will.
Wow. Now that is a trend right there.
Yeah.
So you better believe I'm putting that one out on the old Twitter/X. Wild stuff. Give me Kentucky in this game.
So we might be in for a good one.
I'm sold now that this thing could be close, given the recent history.
What a find there. All right.
How about that?
We got one more on the slate.
Oh, do we? Texas A&M is going to host Mississippi State in a game that will probably be close, maybe for different reasons. 9 p.m. Eastern. This one's on the U. ESPN U. This is your kind of game, Max. Two teams that are going to play bully ball. It's going to be physical. It's going to be a grind. I just realized, I don't know why I thought these teams played earlier in the year. They did not. So the first time this season, you're getting the 23-24 Mississippi State Bulldogs against the 23-24 Texas A&M Aggies in a must-win situation for the Aggies here in College Station.
I'm salivating like a junkyard dog over this game. This is my bread and butter. I'm telling you, I love a Florida, Kentucky, or a Alabama, Kentucky when both teams are scoring in the hundreds. Who doesn't love that? But there's just something about a game in the 50s and 60s that just gets me going. You go down by 4, you think you're down by 18, and then you hit an and 1, and you feel like you won the national championship. I love these games. Ken Palm's got this as a 1-point game, total at 139. This is going to be a scrap. This is a heavyweight boxing match. I cannot wait for it. But when we do look at the matchups, there's a huge difference in these teams. When you look at them, eye test, you look at how they play, their physical nature, you'd think, oh my gosh, this is team A against team B. Same thing. They do the same thing. But they don't. They really don't. This is a A&M offense that we know what they do well and what they don't do well. What they do well is they take care of the ball. They're number one in the SEC in offensive turnover rate, offensive steal rate, and offensive rebounding. So all these loose balls, scrappiness, anything like that, this is a Texas A&M team that usually wins those battles. But on the flip side, it's a Mississippi State offense, both offenses really, that love to get to the line. So with how physical both these teams play, but also how aggressively they drive and try to get down low, man, I would not want to be a referee for this game because you're going to have bodies banging on every single play. I I really think it's going to come down to, since it's so physical, it's going to come down to who makes shots. Two teams that kind of inefficiently shoot. You know how much Josh Hubbard has that green light, and same with Wade Taylor. Kind of similar offensive styles. Maybe A&M will rebound a little bit better, while Mississippi State might be a little bit more efficient. Not seeing much separating.
I mean, the only thing to me, and we talk about trends, Mississippi State on the road this season, as we've said, is just a team that has been hard to trust. Even if they feel like the better team here, they've not been easy to trust on the road. Now, that's changed a little bit. Of course, they got the blowout win at Missouri. I think you have to put the caveat in there that Sean East didn't play in that game. They won at LSU by 20 in kind of that game that made us really open our eyes to say, oh, they just went and won at LSU by 20 after LSU just beat Kentucky. But against what? NCAA tournament caliber teams, which Ole Miss would be included in that, I think. Lost at South Carolina, lost at Kentucky, lost at Florida, lost at Ole Miss, lost at Alabama, lost at Auburn. So, I mean, that's the thing, right? They haven't beaten a team that is of NCAA tournament caliber on the road this season. And A&M still in the conversation, so they're still in the mix here. And so I think that's interesting. Like, that is, and we kind of figured that out early with Mississippi State. We're like, this is just a team that's probably going to not be able to get that extra something they need to win these kind of games on the road. So I wonder about that. I also wonder, as I always do, it's just a matter of what are you going to get from Texas A&M offensively. Again, we would have never thought, had we said that Texas A&M is going to win by 14 at Georgia, and they're going to do it with Wade Taylor scoring 4 points. There's no way we would have ever been like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right? And so it's like we would have never thought that. But they did. And so now you've kind of just got a setup here where it's like, we said it's like, what does Mississippi State do the best defensively? They defend the three. Well, that's not even doesn't matter in this game because you have a team that isn't going to rely on the three. You're going to have a team that relies on the free throw line in A&M. So I think this is one of your foul specials where you're going to have a lot of free throws. Unfortunately, believe it or not, that actually favors Texas A&M because they shoot a better percentage than Mississippi State does from the line. And so Mississippi State shooting 61.9% in SEC play from the free throw line. That is just not good. I'm letting you go first on this one. I hadn't made my pick yet, but I think I know where I'm leaning.
I know where I'm leaning, and in a game where you can look at the numbers, and the numbers are going to give you an advantage here, a disadvantage there, it's going to be kind of a wash, kind of a coin flip game. This is kind of what I've taken away here. Listen, this is Texas A&M. They've had a tough season. All right, it hasn't been easy. It's been a long road, especially it was a tough February. Man, did they have a tough February. This is the last home game of the year. Last home game of the year for this team. They've got old seniors. Tyrese Radford, senior. Hayden Hefner, senior. Eli Lawrence, senior. Henry Coleman, senior. Anderson Garcia, senior. Wade Taylor's been there for a while, but junior. I mean, there's a lot of emotions that are going to be going into this game. Last home game of the career for some of these guys here, coming off of a tough month. If there's going to be a game they want to win, and they want to go out on a high note, it's going to be winning at home in the last home game. So I'm going to go Texas A&M here. I just think they play their absolute hearts out in what is going to be a game won by effort. I'll go with A&M.
Yeah, that's where I was leaning, so you talked me into it. I'm going to go A&M too. I think that was, again, it's what's at stake here. They have much more at stake. They've got to win this game.
They don't have a choice.
Look, that they were in that same, as we said, they were in the same scenario at Georgia last Saturday, and they did well there. Now I think, Buzz can use that same motivation here for this one, and you also tie in the fact, as we said, Mississippi State has just not been the same team necessarily on the road this season. So, yeah, I'm gonna pick the Aggies, I'm gonna go with the Aggies too in this one. So there you go. As we said, guys, if you want our thoughts on Tennessee, South Carolina, you can find that in a separate video. Check it out in the description below. And as always, hit that subscribe button. Almost 15,000 here, which is wild, but hey, it's all because of you guys. We appreciate you watching all of our basketball stuff this season. Of course, lots of football, baseball stuff coming your way as well. So we appreciate you as always for watching, and we'll talk to you again here soon at Southeastern 14 presented by Bet Online.